Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's live session on how to recession-proof your small business. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, America's #1 small business expert and best-selling author of Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months. Now, this presentation today is being brought to you by the Grow with Google, and I want to make sure that you subscribe to their YouTube channel right now because you don't want to miss any more of their great small business resources. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about recessions, right? We're going to talk about the good things that come from recessions. And then I'm going to give you 12 specific tips that you're going to be able to use to recession proof your business. So there's two things you're going to come away from today's session with. Number one, you're going to have specific tactics and tools to get ready for the recession. Number two, you're going to leave this session with confidence on how to thrive through the recession. It's not about surviving. We want you to position yourself now so that you can thrive. And that's why I'm here today. Now, I'm going to give about a 15 to 20 minute presentation, and then we're opening it up for questions. So get your questions ready, pop them in the chat. I'm going to answer as many as I can in the next hour. So here we go. I really want to talk to you guys about recessions. Like, what even is a recession, right? Well, basically, it's just a period of economic downturn in the economy. And usually it's indicated by 2 quarters in a row of lower GDP, which is the gross domestic product for the country. Now, that is like the economic answer, but here's the deal with recessions. They actually happen roughly every 10 years. They tend to last anywhere from 11 to 18 months, but they're usually followed by nearly a decade of prosperity. So it's like that pain that has to come, but afterwards everything is all good because so many resources get pushed back into the economy to help it start growing again. So, one of the things that I want to share with you guys before we jump in is that people normally think about recessions as being like all bad. But I want to argue that there are actually some good things that come from recession. And here's really what I want to point out. For one, there's for the last year and a half, employees have had the upper hand. Well, guess what? Recessions eliminate high price talent. All of a sudden, you're going to have access to people you couldn't even have thought of being able to get as a small business. You're also going to have a lot less competition because let's face it, recessions do eliminate some businesses. You are going to have the opportunity to negotiate better rates with everybody for everything because everyone is trying to keep their customers. And also, it's a great opportunity for new businesses and new ideas to thrive. So don't be afraid of a recession. You just want to be really intentional about how you're going to be running your business because at the end of the day, you want to play offense in your business and not defense. So the first question that I have to ask all of you, and I want to invite you to leave your comments in the chat, is how many of you actually think that we are in a recession right now? How many of you? I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to reply. Okay. All right. Now, all right. I got a follow-up question to that. How many of you guys think that we're going to be in a recession by the end of this year, by the end of 2020? Are we going to slip into a recession? Now, I got to be honest with you guys. I think we're heading to a recession. I don't know that we're quite there yet, but I've been in business over 20 years. So I've actually weathered 2 recessions already. So I can tell you for a fact that if you use the tools and tips that I'm going to share with you today, you are really going to have a better go of it. It doesn't have to be a doomsday scenario in your business. So, what is the first tip that I have for you as thinking about being in recession? Well, the number one thing you need to do is engage your existing customers. All of your existing customers should be getting emails, should be getting phone calls from you. And the reason why this is important is because an existing customer is 60 to 70% more likely to do business with you again if they're asked. And usually they spend more on their second and third order. So that is your best possible opportunity to grow your revenue during a recession. Because honestly, it's cheaper to keep a customer than it is to go out and get another one. So just keep that in mind. Talk to your customers, survey your customers, if you're a B2B business, you need to be calling your customers on the phone, and you need to figure it out, not just what they need now, but what their future needs are going to be, so that you can position yourself to be a resource down the road, not just today. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is your spending, as in time to cut off all discretionary spending. Honestly, you should be asking yourself why 3 times before spending any money in your business right now. If it's not an essential expense, it's a no. And on that same note, I want you to be looking for ways that you can cut your expenses. I don't know about you, but a bunch of us out here are subscribed to all kinds of software that we don't use, news subscriptions, all kinds of stuff. It is time to cut the cord on all of that, because you want to make sure that you have all of your cash in reserve as much as you can. You also want to take the time now to look at your offers, look at what you're selling, and really examine your value proposition. Do you really have something about your business that's not easily duplicatable by your competitors? Well, if not, it's time to go back to the drawing board and figure out how you can uniquely serve your target customer. Because if you can really show your customer value, price becomes really a secondary issue. So you do want to make sure that you understand your customer, see if anything's changed about your target customer, and make sure that your value proposition is still valid with them. And doing a survey is a great way to find that information out. You also want to ramp up your marketing. A lot of times people hear the word recession, they hear cut discretionary expenses. I'm not talking about your marketing. No. I want you actually to start ramping up your marketing, because we know just from the last recession, even just from the pandemic, the people that invested in marketing during the pandemic were the people who won. And so you want to make sure that you hold on to your cash as long as you can, so that you can invest in marketing initiatives in your business, because that is really going to make the difference on how you weather the storm. You also want to build a new strategic marketing plan. And a strategic marketing plan is basically a 1-year marketing plan where you're really just going to lay out your initiatives. What are you going to do? Are you going to add a new content strategy? Are you going to add a new salesperson? All of these things you can lay out in your strategic marketing strategy. But if you're somebody who hasn't really looked at your business plan in the last year or two, don't worry about that. Just put together a solid marketing plan, because that is going to drive all your sales activities. And at the end of the day, that is what it's about. You have to figure out how you're going to drive leads and all that good stuff. So now the next thing I want you to think about, right in this same line, is looking at your entire sales process. So how do you drive leads? Do you have any new things coming up that you're going to do to drive leads? Maybe drop a new ebook or new video course on your website. What are you going to do to drive leads? But then again, what are your follow-up systems to turn that lead into a customer? Do you have a sales funnel? Is it time to update your sales funnel? These are all the things that you want to be doing. And then certainly once you make a sale, what is your onboarding system for customers? What is your follow-up game? Are you asking them for a review? Are you asking them for a repeat order? Right? All of these things are important, and you want to look at how you can use technology to help you. You certainly need to be using email to follow up, but you want to make sure that you're looking at your entire sales process and that it's tight, that it doesn't have any leaks. There's nothing worse than a leaky sales funnel. Now, you also want to be building up an emergency savings account for your business. Just like you should have an emergency savings account for your household, you absolutely need one for your business. And I'm actually a big fan of putting a business emergency account like in an interest bearing account, like a money market account, so that you can actually even earn interest. Even though it's pennies, it's still interest. So you want to make sure that you put that aside. You don't touch that money. That money is for emergencies. And what kind of emergencies could come up? Well, you guys, in recessions, oftentimes people don't pay you on time. And so you want to make sure that you still have enough resources to cover payroll for 6 months, 9 months. That's the kind of thing that I mean when I'm saying you need to have an emergency savings account for your business. Another thing you might want to be thinking about is developing a new revenue stream for your business. Do you have the kind of business that might be, something that might be relevant to building a course? Could you create a coaching program? I mean, what is it that you can do to create another stream of revenue in your business that could just backfill your main sources of revenue, right? One of the things you really want to look at is if all of your business comes from one customer, or the majority of your business comes from one or two customers, you are in trouble. You need to make sure that you have multiple streams of income and a diversity of customers, because things happen to your customers in recessions too. And so you just want to make sure that, your customer going out of business or your customer going bankrupt doesn't mean you're going to have to go bankrupt too. So you want to make sure that you have different streams of income going in your business. Maybe you could create a subscription service. I actually go to a local car repair place that they said that they've created a subscription service. It's $47 a month, and all of your regular maintenance is covered under the $47 a month. Well, you know what? That's actually a deal, but that's a great way to create cash flow in a business. So you want to think about what can you do to increase your revenue streams in your business. Now, one of the other things you must do, and you should be doing this anyway, but you especially better be doing it now, is you need to be providing exceptional customer service to your customers. I mean, you need to be all about surprise and delight. You need to be about under promise and over deliver. You need to make your customers think that they would never leave you because of how awesome it is to work with you. It's one thing to do good work. It's a whole nother thing to be good to work with. And a lot of small businesses get a bad rap for bad service. You do not have that luxury in a recession, because what we know is that customers have options, and what you don't want to do is get them to be out here looking for someone else. So you want to take great care of your customers. Extremely important. And one of the other things you got to do is leverage technology better. There is a lot of marketing automation software and things out there. You could be, invoicing reminders. All of this stuff can be automated. So if you're paying for software that you don't know how to use, how about you get on YouTube and learn how to use it, or get on that company's website and take their trainings and learn how to use that software so you can get it to do all the things that you're already paying for it to do. Because if your time personally is billable at $250 an hour, why would you spend it doing $30 an hour tasks? So this is really, really important. So you want to make sure that you are increasing your own personal productivity. And the best way to do that is by looking at all of your tasks that you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and figuring out what you can get an app to do for you. And that is really going to save you a lot of time and effort down the line. And then the last thing that I want to share with you guys in terms of my 12 things you need to do to recession-proof your small business is to go talk to your business banker. Make sure the business banker at the bank that you use knows you. One of the things we know is that sometimes resources and things come down the pike. And if your business banker doesn't know you, if you just go to your bank and make deposits and withdrawals, no one knows you. So you want to make sure that once you develop this great new strategic plan, marketing plan that we talked about, go show it to the bank. If you've gotten some new contracts or you've got a long-term contract, go talk to your business banker about it. Make sure he knows about it. Make sure he knows you, because you never know how that relationship can help you with getting lines of credit, factoring a big invoice, whatever it is. But you want to make sure that you are using your banker and, frankly, your accountant and your lawyer as business advisors. Don't just call accountant at tax time. Call your accountant to help you work on your budget for all of this that's going to go on in 2023 so that you're ready. And with that, I just want to open it up for questions, because I know that I breezed through a lot of information, but I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to answer all of your questions. We did have a few that actually were submitted before this event, but we do want to make sure that I have an opportunity to answer your questions. But the first thing I'm going to do is dive into some of the questions that were submitted, and then we would love to take you guys' questions afterwards. So the first question that I got is, what is the number one thing you must do to thrive in this recession? And I will tell you that the number one thing you must do is ramp up your marketing. This is not a time to cut your marketing. This is a time to do more, to take on a new marketing channel. You want to put your name out there, stay out there, because other people are going to cut their marketing. But that's not your problem. You are going to ramp up your marketing and you're going to be rewarded for doing it. The next question I got was, what type of businesses can benefit from online selling to engage their audience? Hey guys, it doesn't matter what you sell, whether you're selling B2B, B2C, whether you're selling services, retail, you need to be selling online. Local businesses can sell online just like e-commerce and B2B businesses. Obviously, it's different depending on what you're chasing, but let me just give you some examples. So if you are doing B2B selling activities, you need to be all over LinkedIn, period. If you are selling retail product-based businesses, you need to be on Facebook, you need to be on Instagram, you need to be on Pinterest, right? There's a lot of different things you can do. If you are trying to build your brand, build a personal brand, build brand awareness, you need to be doing videos. And those videos are all over TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and frankly, all the other channels as well. So you want to figure out how you can build your brand and keep your name out there. If you're doing retail, then it's really about making sure that you make sure that you have did your Google local listing. Make sure that you can be found in Google Maps. You want to make sure that you're using the Google console panel so that you can find out about insights about people driving near your restaurant or your business. You want to make sure that you are leveraging all of the different things. Maybe you want to use your some mobile social ads as a local business. You want to make sure you're putting your zip code or talking about how close the people are to your business in some of your ads. You know, if they're less than a mile away, that's how you can target them. There's lots of things you can do to market your business online, and it doesn't matter what kind of business you have. You need to be marketing your business online regardless. What is the difference between social media marketing and social media selling? Well, to me, social media marketing is about getting friends, getting followers. Social media selling is very specifically about converting sales. Now, you got to do one before you do the other, right? So you've got to make sure that you have relationships, that you have been a resource, that you've been giving out valuable content, and then sell your stuff. I mean, there are businesses, there's some great product-based businesses that can just do direct sales on Instagram or direct sales on Facebook, direct sales via Google. But you do want to make sure that there's some other information people can look at. Are you talking about your testimonials? Are you showing your reviews? you got to make sure there's some other information because people are weary of just clicking and buying from a strange product they never heard of, from a business they've never heard of. So you do want to make sure that there's some information out here about you. You can highlight your reviews and your social proof in any of kind of direct selling you're going to be doing online. The fourth question that I got is, do you need to have a large following on social media to start selling online? I love this question. Let me tell you something. No, 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 you don't. Literally, if you had 1,000 followers, you had 1,000 people on an email list, you could build $1 million business. So it's really not about the quantity as much as it's about the quality. You really do want to make sure that you have an engaged following, because you can have all the followers in the world, you can buy followers, but if you can't get your followers to do something, you can't get them to register for a webinar or to click and buy something, they're really of no value to you. So I wouldn't be so much about the numbers as much as I would be about the quality of your followers and really getting to know them. Because the more you know about your target customers and people that follow you, the better you can sell things for them and develop content that's really going to be most relevant to them. Next question is, what are my favorite sales tools that I use to manage my business and my sales? Okay, well, I am a big Gmail user. I love Google Calendar, and I use an app called Mixmax. And Mixmax actually sits on top of my Gmail and helps me manage my calendar. And instead of going back and forth with people for meetings, I can send people availability on my calendar. They click it, it goes on their calendar, it goes on mine. It's wonderful. You can also track if people opened your emails, what time did people open your emails? How many times did they open it? That kind of stuff. I also really like Mixmax because it also integrates with our CRM system. And so the CRM that we use in my business is called Pipedrive. And so my Gmail, my Google Suite products, my Mixmax, and all of my Pipedrive stuff all work together. And that is really how we manage our sales. Now, we have some other tools that we use as well. I'm an Infusionsoft user for email. I also use another product called AutoClose when I want to send special emails out that have videos in them and stuff like that, because sometimes that's not easy to do in bigger, larger email accounts. So there's lots of different tools that we use to facilitate sales in our business, but most of it sits on our Gmail is our mainstay. Next question is, how do you choose the best social media channels to sell? Well, this is a very common question that I ask, but honestly, you guys, when it comes to the best social media channels for your business, it's really about where your target customer hangs out online. You don't want to be using Facebook because you like Facebook. You want to be using Facebook because that's where your fish are. So you really do want to make sure that you have the best channel. And honestly, I don't think you need to be doing more than one or two. I think a lot of people make mistakes out here trying to be on 5 different social media channels. That is not going to serve you. You really need to be on 1 or 2. When I first built my business online back in 2008, I literally built $1 million business from Twitter, and then later got on Facebook, later got on LinkedIn. And so I didn't focus anywhere until I was dominating on Twitter. So I say all that to say that you just have to figure out where your people are. And one of the best ways to do that is track your keywords in your industry, or track the keywords that people use for your particular product. You should also be tracking hashtags too. That way you can keep up with what your customers are saying. And it's also a great way to keep up with your competitors too. So you really just want to make sure that you know what your people's problems are. What are they talking about? What content do they respond the best to? And that will tell you what social media channel you need to select. How do you get started with online selling? Woo, that's a big question. Okay, so How do you get started with online selling? Well, honestly, when it comes down to it, it's about looking at Google ads or looking at Facebook ads. And honestly, guys, I don't know that one is necessarily better than the other. If you have the budget, I'm a big fan of telling you to test campaigns with both. Now, what I like to tell people to do is they should develop 5 different ads and test them with just a small amount of money and see which ones convert. So if you start with 5 ads and you see that 2 are really converting, then you put the rest of your budget on those 2 that are converting. And that is true for getting started with Facebook ads or getting started with Google ads. Now, depending on the kind of business you are, there's all kinds of different ads, right? And let's say your business isn't terribly visually sexy. Like, let's say you're a plumber or something like that. Well, you might want to do a call only listing ad on Google, right? Or if you sell cakes, you might want to do beautiful ads of your work, your finished products on Facebook or Instagram, right? So there's lots of different ways you can do ads, but I definitely think that ads are not optional. I think that ads have to be part of your marketing mix, but there's a lot of things that got to go in it. You got to think about SEO, you got to think about content. If your website sucks, it doesn't make sense to do any of this stuff, right? So you really want to focus on your website first. Make sure your website it's your welcome mat into your business. It's your number one sales tool. So make sure your website is great. Then make sure that you have landing pages for all of your offers. And these should be good landing pages with great artwork, clear calls to action. You don't want any navigation on landing pages because you want to focus people's attention on the one thing you want them to do. And you can use that to build your email list or actually close direct sales. And so those are the things that I think you need to keep in mind when you're getting started with online selling. So I think I just answered the next question. So someone said, "What are my best tips for buying online ads?" I think I just gave them to you in the last question. Um, so someone asked, "What are the biggest mistakes that people make with social media selling?" Well, I believe that the one biggest mistake people make is not having social proof, not having testimonials in their ads that they can point to. I think results sell better than anything. Sometimes I also think that people don't take the time to build a relationship before they try to sell to you. How many times have you been on like LinkedIn and you connected someone and then 2 seconds later they send you their pitch and you literally don't know them from Adam's Alley Cat, right? So why would I buy from you? Why would I even consider hearing a pitch from you when you haven't even bothered to try to engage me? You and then people that are using bots to send out solicitations to people, know that we can tell. I mean, honestly, I have something in my LinkedIn profile that makes sure that whenever someone is using a bot to contact me, I can always tell. And a lot of people have stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you send people personalized messages that sound like they were sent by a human. You do not want to be sending canned emails to people. Now, that doesn't mean that email marketing doesn't work. It does. But how much better is it when someone sends you an email? "Dear Melinda, I was noticing that you recently started an online school, Small Biz Lady University. I looked at your website and I actually have some suggestions for how you might be able to improve your landing pages." Now, that is an email solicitation or a LinkedIn solicitation that I would respond to because they use my name. They actually knew something about my business, which means they actually went and did homework about me. And they made a suggestion that was not offensive, but actually was helpful. And so, what I really want you to think about is when you communicate with your audience, whether it's on a DM, whether it's an email in LinkedIn, whether, whatever you're doing, you need to keep it personal. The more personal you can make the content, the more effective it's going to be to help you sell your business. Let's see, what's the next question? Oh, someone said, can I share some tips for creating compelling social ads? Well, here is my favorite trick for creating a social media ad. Use content that your audience has already responded well to, whether it was a photo, whether it was a tweet, whether it was a reel that people really liked. Use that content in your ads. Your people already responded well to it. So chances are a lot more people will respond to it as well. All right, I think we've gotten even more questions in. So let me look at the questions that we have now. Um any tips on how to choose the right business banker, attorney, and accountant? Okay. Well, first of all, I am a big fan of asking other business owners who they use. You really don't want to go to a big law firm or a big CPA firm. You really want to work with somebody who's a small business just like you because they're going to charge you like a small business. You go with a big law firm, you're going to be paying for their offices and not so much their services and probably not getting that great of service. So you really do want to make sure that when you're selecting an accountant or a lawyer that you find somebody that specializes in working with small businesses. Now, when it comes to picking the right business banker, I really think that before you select a business bank, you need to go and visit their branches in your area and find out even if they have a business banker. You want to ask them what kind of services they have for business customers. How much fees are they charging? What's the minimums they have to have in accounts in order to not get charged fees? All of these things are the things that you want to know, and then you want to know if they have any specialized programs, whether loan programs, education programs. What are they doing for their small business customers other than taking deposits and withdrawals? Right. So you really want to understand how committed that organization is. I would also ask them about what their SBA lending track record is. A lot of banks do, if they do small business lending, they do it with SBA guarantees. So I would ask them what percentage of their loans are actually SBA guaranteed loans. And so those are some of the things that you almost want to interview your business banker before you decide what bank you want to go with. And just know that just because you're seeing ads on TV doesn't mean it's the best bank. You want to go somewhere where your lending decisions are made more locally as opposed to nationally. So you do want to make sure that you go in there, you talk to them, you find out how they do business. When are they open? How fast do they clear checks? These are all questions that you want to know because if you're a business and someone gives you a $21,000 check, you don't want to be waiting 7 days to get your money when you got to pay your people. So those are some of the kinds of things that you really want to make sure that you understand about your business bank that you're going to be using. All right, you guys, we still have about a few more minutes. If any of you guys have any additional questions, I would love to answer them for you. This recession is coming. It's sort of like, for those of you that are Game of Thrones fans out there, they always said winter is coming. So, guess what? This recession is coming. It is definitely on its way if it isn't going on right now. And I do think that you want to be thinking strategically about how you can position your business to thrive in this recession as opposed to, you know, wither, die. You don't want to do that. And but there's lots of things, like I said earlier, that can come from recessions that aren't so bad. Like, for example, a recession is a great opportunity for you to cut dead weight in your business. It's a great opportunity for you to get rid of employees that aren't cutting the mustard, and you need to cut expenses anyway. So that is something that really can help you with your business. So someone said, speaking of loans, finding a loan is a challenge for small businesses. Where else besides a traditional bank can I look? Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. When it comes to getting loans for your business, your bank really doesn't want to look at you until you've been in business for 2 years, your positive cash flow, and your first lending opportunity with your bank is probably going to be as a line of credit. And typically they will only loan you 10 to 15% of your gross revenue. So if your gross revenue is $100,000, you're probably not going to get more than $10,000 to $15,000 in the line. So that's what you got to think about. If you want to look at alternative lenders outside of banks, I'm a big fan of looking at credit unions. I'm also a big fan of looking at CDFIs, which are community development financial institutions. And CDFIs are nonprofits located in your community. And oftentimes they have a focus. Some of them focus on affordable housing projects and things like that, but many of them focus on small businesses. And if you have a credit score of about 620 or higher, you can qualify for a loan with a CDFI. Usually for a bank, you got to be about 650 or 750 or higher to get a bank loan for your small business. And they're definitely going to put a small business guarantee, SBA guarantee on it, which is frankly going to make it take longer to close the loan. So the other thing you want to think about if you need a business loan is don't wait until you're about to miss payroll. You need to be talking to the bank 2 to 3 months before you need the loan, before you actually will receive it. Somebody asked a question, how did I start my business and what were my product ranges? I think you're asking what products do I sell. So I will tell the quick and dirty story on my business. So my background is actually as a television producer. So I went to school for broadcast journalism and I worked in television news in the NBC market. I worked for the NBC station in Pittsburgh in my hometown, and I have worked for the ABC and NBC stations here in Philadelphia. When I left television, I started a video production company. And over the years, our company morphed into a web development and video production company. And then in 2007, I read a trade journal that said social media was going to be the next big thing that was going to revolutionize American marketing. And I said, wow, you know what? I'm going to become a black belt in that. And so I completely changed my company's focus to social media marketing. And literally, we just started working on becoming black belts in that. And how we did it was by building my Small Biz Lady brand, which if you all follow me out in social media, my brand reaches millions of entrepreneurs each week online. And so that's what we did. We turned ourselves into social media marketing consulting. And then over the years, as we've done a lot of that, we actually morphed into a full-scale marketing consulting firm. And my company works with Fortune 500 brands like Google on things like customer acquisition, customer retention. We do influencer marketing programs for brands. And we also develop content strategy and social media contests for brands. So I'm very blessed to say that I've had the opportunity to work with over 150 corporate brands, all with the household names that you guys know. And so that is the business that I have been in for the last 14 years. And I love doing it. I certainly love doing educational materials for all of you. So we have our brand succeedasYourOwnBoss.com. That's my huge blog that has over 5,000 articles about how to start and grow a successful business. I also have an online school called Small Biz Lady University. And I have 4 classes in my online school: how to sell and market online, social media selling, and ultimate guide to email marketing. And my big course, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months, which is a 10-week online course. It will be taught live this October in partnership with Drexel University. So I am so excited to have re-envisioned that course, and with my book, Become Your Own Boss, which is in its 3rd edition. And so that is what my business does. That's how I make my money. Let's see. All right. So I don't see any more questions, but you guys, we do have a few more minutes. So if any of you have any further questions, people pay me a lot of money for my advice, and Google has made me available to you today. So I would love to have the opportunity to answer some more questions. But while I'm waiting for you guys to give me another question, I do want to remind you to subscribe to the Grow with Google YouTube channel, because they have lots of amazing small business resources and training tools to help you grow your business, and you don't want to miss out. So make sure that you subscribe to their YouTube channel today. All right, I see one more question. Why do you think that the recession actually can be good? Well, I answered this earlier, but I want to say that, recessions are, people always get nervous, they get worried about recessions, but you need to think about there's lots of amazing businesses that have been started during recessions. And Airbnb was started during recession. Microsoft was started during recession. 3M was started during recession. Toll House Cookies was started during a recession. So recessions don't necessarily mean that all business is suppressed. It really could create an opportunity for amazing businesses to grow and thrive. CNN was created during a recession. So don't miss the opportunity to germinate an amazing new idea, because during recessions, people are more open to new ideas than they are when things are going how they're going, right? People are always looking for new ideas, new solutions. So don't ever shy away from that. Really look at the opportunity that is in front of you. And mother necessity always creates opportunity. So look around at you at the things you buy, the things you wish you could buy. Could you turn that into a business? And now might be the very time that you should do that. So someone's asking a question. What is my favorite business book? Oh, I'm so glad you asked this question. My favorite business book is actually Disrupt You by Jay Samit. And I love this book because he says, in order to disrupt the world, you have to disrupt yourself. And I believe that a lot of people start businesses because they want to change the world. But listen to me, if you're not willing to change, you're not going to be able to make the change either. So think about what you need to do, what you need to learn, how you need to grow. And that is really how you're going to win. Because the other thing you've got to think about in a recession is your leadership. You can't come off like you are afraid, like you don't know what's happening in your business. Your team is going to get nervous and they're going to start looking for jobs elsewhere. You want to make sure that you over communicate with your team about what the plan is. And that's part of the reason why I suggested earlier that you really do need to sit down and create a new strategic marketing plan, because you want to make sure that you can tell the team where you're going. You don't want to leave it willy nilly. You don't want to, prayer is not is a good idea, but it's not a strategy. You have to plan for success. Success is not going to just happen to you. So you really do want to make sure that you are working on yourself as a leader in your business. One of the new chapters that I added in my book, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months, is actually you have to grow your leadership. Like, you have to be intentional about it, because people don't leave jobs, they leave people. So you want to make sure that your leadership is keeping the culture in your organization high, and that you run an organization that people want to work for and that they will work hard in. And so that is really going to, because really your personal enthusiasm is infectious. So if you're grumpy and down and scared and worried, people can feel that. Children and dogs can feel that. So your adult employees can definitely feel that. So you want to make sure that you are not being unrealistic. You don't want to sell people champagne wishes and caviar dreams, but you do want to have a plan, and you want to help have everybody bought into the plan and how you guys are going to thrive through the recession. Listen, my time is now up. I have really enjoyed spending this time with you all today. I really hope that I have given you some pearls so that you can position yourself to thrive in the coming recession, because don't forget, winter is coming. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. Please go out and follow me on all of the social channels. And don't forget to subscribe to Grow with Google YouTube channel. They have great tools and tips to help you grow your small business. Till next time.